2. Some might lost a lot. But in Jimmy McWright's case, you have been got. What's going on, fellow YouTubers? Sorry for the long intro. This is Craig Smith here for episode 37 of Let's Draw Something. I'm joined by my co-host, my boss on his podcast, which is I'm a co-host of his, Jimmy J. Smooth, born and raised in 901, representing the 832. And when he goes live on Twitter and on Facebook Live to eat them 911 wings, y'all definitely gonna know how he do. Today.
I might do it on YouTube.
Okay. All right. Today, we're going to talk about yesterday's playoff games. We're going to grade Memphis's Cotton Bowl performance, Justin Fields' performance, and we also got some fan questions about Texas high school football, Jimmy's neck of the woods, and a couple of questions about Joe Burrow. So, before we get started, let's draw on something that's been brought to you part by Trey Styles Custom and Designs. There's nothing he cannot customize. Hit him up for your NBA, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, FCS, and MLS soccer, special occasions, and everything else for all of your needs. He has shirts, hat aprons, sweaters, everything. Name it, he got it. Once again, Trey Styles Custom and Designs. There's nothing he can't customize. You can hit him up on Facebook at Trey D. Murphy. That's if he answers his messages. Or you can hit him up on his phone number at 901-364-3698. That's 904-3698. Make sure you leave a thorough, detailed message because he ain't gonna get back with you unless you give him a good, thorough, detailed message stating what you want. Jimmy, before we get started, man, I gotta send a melancholy, and her death was a shock to me. Well, we had 2 deaths. Steve Ensminger's daughter-in-law died. And we're gonna talk about that, but we also got to give a shout out to the dude who put ESPN on blast on Twitter about that shit. So I give him a lot of props on that. I'm gonna find that post. But a good buddy of mine died, Denise McCoy Johnson. She died the day after Christmas, man, and it was a shock. Because she lived off of Cedar Tree off of Rains Road, and it took me a minute to process it. And, and like a lot of people didn't find, some people accepted the death for what it is. She's a good friend of mine. Mom's doing her classic John about the whole thing. Denise killed herself. And yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a long story on that one. From what I was told, she had got into it with someone, and it's just the case, and really she had dealt with a lot of she has dealt with a lot of anxiety attacks and stuff like that, man. And I mean, I deal with them, but I'm not going to go to the point where I'm going to fucking hurt myself, And this is all on the eve, I'm trying to figure out why would she do this after finding out that she told me and my mom weeks ago that she's about to be a grandmother. So,
yeah.
Damn. What the hell? You all right, man?
No, it's a fucking mosquito I'm trying to kill. That motherfucker is like.
Damn, is it warm down in Texas?
Dude, it's 75 degrees out here, bro. I keep on telling y'all, we don't have the same winters y'all have, so I was trying to kill that something.
Damn, yeah, and in the sun, I see in the sun beaming out too.
Yeah, so yes, get your bitch ass. But keep on continuing, man. I don't like mosquitoes.
Yeah, but man, it's just a shock to me, man. So thoughts and prayers, and I don't want to.
Yeah, rest in peace to the young lady and her family, and like I say, people, y'all got help. If y'all got mental issues and y'all need help, don't be too proud to go to a psychologist. That don't mean your ass is crazy. Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody to talk to. And sometimes talking to your best friends is not the answer sometimes. Because sometimes your friends, you know, I'm talking about sometimes even your real friends can't help you with your problems. But main thing is, man, if you got some issues, get some help. It ain't. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there where I wanted to kill my fucking self, but I realized that what's how many people I'm gonna hurt if I do that, and how many opportunities in
Yeah.
life I'm gonna miss out on. So if you got those type of issues, uh, I'm gonna personally reasonably assume that this is speculation until you get an autopsy, because if it's ruled a suicide, then you got to have an autopsy. So I'm gonna keep that to myself. But in the case that it is,
Right.
just
But what I found out, let me cut you off. But what I found out though, her fiance, he checked out clean for gun residue. He had no prints on the gun or nothing. But the question is, did the police check her hands?
yeah,
Because I think she was both left and right handed. So
switch hitter. They say a switch hitter. And so I don't know the
yeah,
exact word, but yeah,
ambidextrous.
ambidextrous. Okay, yeah, yeah,
So um, you know, like I said, thoughts and prayers go out to a son, a daughter. She leave behind two grown children, a grown son, a grown daughter, and the unborn grandchild. I think it's going to be a granddaughter or granddaughter or grandson. And I just hate like hell, man, that they going through that shit right now.
yeah. Nobody wants to go lose anybody to anything, much less suicide.
Hmm.
But I do say to that, even if it is in the case that it is, because we don't know for sure until we get an autopsy or somebody, all we know is just speculation, because it's pretty early to see if somebody actually, uh, because it could take months before we actually find out the actual cause of death. But
Hmm.
especially if they're not already in the hospital and suffering, and we know for a fact. It could take months because they're gonna have to do an autopsy. If it's a suicide, you know what I'm saying, or a parent suicide, they're gonna have to go through a medical examiner. But in the case that's true, if you have those kind of issues, you know, get with somebody, get some help. It doesn't take it doesn't make you any less of a normal person, because sometimes normal people have breakdowns. Willie D spoke
Right.
about this a year ago. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, kind of turn your mic up a little bit because I can barely hear you.
Um, Willie D spoke about this a month ago. So uh, nevertheless, just get some help if this is, you know, nevertheless, just get some help. So what's the next
Yep.
topic we're gonna discuss, bro?
Uh, well, I'm gonna say, but we'll start off with the Memphis and Penn State game. Describe Memphis's performance from what you saw in one word.
A great showing. That's the best way I could say it. It's a great showing. It was a great showing. I can't. I'm proud of Memphis for. I'm proud of Memphis for. Um, I'm proud of Memphis for doing their best in the game. I wish they could have won, but going in that Coach Franklin wasn't going, ain't no tender. That's one thing we knew going
Right.
in the game. We knew Coach Franklin ain't no tender. So I'm proud of them. They could have easily gave up at 35-20, but they bounced all the way back and make it a 30,
Hmm.
35 game. And then, Penn State ultimately pulled away. But for them to score that many points, because historically Memphis is more of a defensive team. They never really had an offense because they tried a myriad of different offenses over the years. They tried the old wishbone like every other college team did, and that shit didn't work. We tried the run and gun system in the late 80s, early 90s under Chuck Stobart. That had some success, not a lot of it. And then we went back to multiple bullshit offenses. But the last 3 coaches that we've had, including the current one that we had, and congratulations to him again, because he deserved that job. He went out because when they said that they was going for a coaching search, the current coach, I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head. You can say his name if you want to. The current guy that they have as the coach at Memphis, he went out and recruited for Memphis right then and there. And the staff, the AD was like, you know what? Since he's going out there and doing the job that Norvell would have been doing, I'm going to just go on and hire him. He deserves that job. He went out to go recruit. And hopefully he can get a few guys out of Georgia. We're going to be Gibson's, Antonio Gibson. This is his last game. And thank you for all the memories, Antonio Gibson, for those kickoff returns. You know, Memphis, believe it or not, has had the most kickoff returns in the last 10 years. You know, and most of those were done by the guy that's currently at the Cowboys, Tony Pollard. But Antonio Gibson took some of the pressure off Tony Pollard, and he ran back quite a few, especially in versus SMU and stuff like that. So, nevertheless, against Penn State, I give them a 9.5 for just being able to score with Penn State. It's a defensive team, one of the top teams in interceptions, one of the best secondaries in all of the nation. That is impressive. To get almost 500 yards against that secondary, I'm very impressed with Brady White. Just go on and go to the NFL if you're going to plan on going. I think he got one more year of eligibility. I say just go for it. I'm not saying he's going to be a top level quarterback, but if that's what you want to do, I'm like, shit. I'm pretty sure he's going to get like in the 2nd or 3rd round. Probably be somebody's backup quarterback for the most part. So if that's what you want to do, kid, just go ahead and do it. We got plenty of guys that we can definitely go to in that department. But I give Memphis a 9.5. And if I'm going to lose to anybody, I would rather lose to Coach Franklin than anybody else. Because Coach Franklin, like I say, you know, I'm always rooting for the brother. As long as he's not playing my team. In this case, he was playing my team, but I'm not going to be mad because we lost to that brother, because he deserves everything he's getting from Penn State. Penn State gave him the big contract, and he could have easily went to Florida State. The only reason why Norvell got that job because of James Franklin. He needs to be thanking James Franklin. He didn't take that job.
Yep.
He need to be thinking every moment of that James Franklin did not take that job, because Florida State was going to pay him out the ass. You know what I'm saying? So Penn State was like, well, you know what? Since you're already doing a great job, you're competing in the Big Ten, you won a conference title since you've been down here, we're going to bring $25 million. And, you know, he's like, hey, you know, I'm thankful for it. You know, you didn't have to come back with more money. I wasn't planning on leaving, but if you feel like I'm going to leave, I'll take the extra contract. So Norvell, and shout out to Mike Norvell. I'm not even pissed off Norvell left, because Corey Wolf said it the whole year that if Slick Willie was going to fuck up, they're going to either go after James Franklin or they're going to go after Norvell. And Norvell was like their last resort, believe me. So, and according to sports, the Florida State Seminoles is the number 19th recruiting class in the country. So he's going in there with a great recruiting class. So Norvell got to get that mentality, got to get that Slick Willie mentality out of those kids. So he might go in there with just on the borderline of bowl eligibility, maybe a 5-7 season next year. But if he goes in there if he come out swinging, come out going undefeated, beating Clemson, because that's going to be the goal for the next 4 years. You're going to have to beat Clemson. You're going to have to beat Clemson at some point during those 4 years, because Florida State fans going to want you to beat Clemson, and they damn sure going to want you to beat Slime Mammy. But we're going to talk about Slime Mammy in a minute, because
my God,
I'm going to clown those hoes at Slime Mammy, because
they fired the offensive coordinator.
We're going to talk about that bitch, but nevertheless, congratulations to James Franklin, and congratulations to the Memphis Tigers for representing us very well, because they could have easily gotten blowed out by 50 3-0, 56-0,
Man,
but
what?
they didn't do that. They didn't lay down like hoes. So they went in there and represented the Memphis M Town, and they a lot of the Memphis fans wasn't mad because hey, this is the first time we on this New Year's, basically a New Year's Six bowl, even though we're playing it on the 28th. They had a great showing, and hopefully the AP poll or the polls keeps us ranked nationally. And Memphis just need to keep on improving their offense, get a better run defense. You probably just need to go to you probably need to go to a 4-3 system instead of a 3-3-5 system. That 3-3-5 works in primarily passing offensive systems. Primarily
and
pass.
speaking of that,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of that, Iowa State. Yeah, Iowa State. I had to correct somebody. I was watching Iowa State get their ass kicked by Notre Dame. They run a 3-5-3, so I'm like, it's still the same fucking difference. You got 5 deep in the secondary, but it's really more. You really got to have some damn good personnel in order for that 3-3-5 to run correctly. You got to have some hosses. You got to have some. Basically, you got to have some guys built like the old Legion of Boom defense with Seattle and stuff. You got to have some hard hitters for that 3-3-5, along with some speed. But if I was Memphis, I go more with a multiple front, like with a 4-3 or a 4-2-5. As long as you have 4 down linemen up there. Hell, go with 5-2. 5 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and you got your default with the safety. Your 2 corners and 2 safeties. I mean, because the defense coordinator that was down to Florida State, so he down there with Norvell now. So whoever, and if I was a new guy, I know his first name is Ryan. If I was that guy, I'd go back out. I'd go after Barry Odom, so he can get that defense back going.
I agree.
So, but to rate their performance, man, I say the Memphis' performance in one word was amazing. Even though in the losing effort, it was amazing. And what impressed me the most was they broke out of the Norvell script.
Yep.
The Norvell script was gone. You saw me, and the play calling wasn't too conservative. Yeah, they were doing a little bit of no huddling and stuff like that. They fooled Penn State for a while by switching with going with a ball control, by running the ball and killing the clock. I mean, they wasn't too conservative. They wasn't running they were running. I noticed that they ran fewer screen passes in that game than they did under Norvell. Because all screen passes, 9 times out of 10, when Norvell's calling, 9 times out of 10 would bite Memphis in the ass, and would bite Memphis in the ass and wouldn't bite them in the ass. And if you're a fuck coordinator who Jimmy is going to take the wheel on in a second, like somebody like a Dan Enos, if you got to check down the screens all the time, your quarterback is garbage. Either your quarterback is just garbage or it's just your system. And what I noticed, and shout out to my guy Jonathan Johnson, because we was talking about this at work today. He said Memphis gonna have to get some houses up on their front line. He said because he said the damn Penn State's running back is about as big as Memphis' defensive line. That's fucking true. They need to get some big dudes, man. If you want to. Because if you want to run a multiple front, a 4-3, I strongly advise not to use the 3-4 because you sacrificing a fucking a tackle, another defensive tackle.
Right.
And if you're gonna go with a 4-3 mixed with a 4-2-5, 4-2-5, you can create a whole lot of looks. Like you could check one of the strong. If you're gonna run with 2 strong safeties, I've seen TCU do this in the past. Gary Passman always have, 4 linemen, 2 linebackers. He'll normally have 2 strong safeties in or 2 free safeties in, and he'll have his 2 corners along, with the regular free safety. You you can mix that shit up. But I was amazed with their performance. Brady White showed some classic Brady White fuckery. And Memphis's protection teams got exposed like a motherfucker. And got to give it to James Franklin. He exposed their ass. First time meeting him. I mean, and he kept it honest. He ain't like one of those fuck coaches gonna talk shit, talking about, we're gonna blow him out, gonna do this and that. He kept Memphis honest. He kept them looking honest, man, and he gave them props.
Yeah, and
that's one thing. That's one thing I like about Frankie, man.
Yeah, and I respect about James Franklin is he's a very humble dude, and he does what he needs to do to win. But congratulations to both teams. I can't knock either team. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is when it comes to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the next topic we gonna do, brother?
The next topic is you. That's right. Ha ha ha. So did you get your crow? So when you do them wings, make sure you order you a plate of crow. Because you were so wait, no. You were so bent on the fact that Oklahoma was going to score 30 points on that LSU defense. It wasn't no way in the hell. LSU prepared for them to a T. Joe Burrow exposed that Oklahoma defense. He exposed them.
Right.
I mean, he exposed them. Steve Ensminger and Joe Brady. And I thought some prayers are with Steve Ensminger because his daughter-in-law passed away, died in a plane crash yesterday on her way to the game. Whatever Steve Ensminger did, what he drew up with that game plan offensively, brilliant. And you cannot deny the fact that defensive game plan had Ed Orgeron written all over it. Because that defensive line knew what the hell they were going to do. That secondary was on point. And I'm going to tell you what was one dumbass mistake that LSU saw coming. That damn flea flicker. And then I don't know if you saw Lincoln Riley, he's laughing, shaking his head. I'm like, fuck you going to call a flea flicker on them for? You do that. You do that if you trailing by a point or something. That's what you call a flea flicker. But I was thoroughly impressed with what Joe Burrow did. Yes, Jimmy, that was just freaking unheard of. 409 yards in the first half, 7 touchdowns, and he finished the game with 493. And he rushed for 1. Justin Jefferson, that man had 4 receiving touchdowns in the first half. Thaddeus Moss, when he broke, Randy's son, big ass Thaddeus Moss lined up in the slot. He tight end, he lined up in the slot. I said, oh shit, when they lined him up in the slot, and we already know he big as hell, he ain't as fast like his dad or whatever. When that linebacker fucked around and moved on him, and then when they hiked the ball and when he took off, I said, that was it. That was an easy touchdown there. That was just a thorough destruction of Choklahoma.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, fuck you. Fuck you. That's first and foremost. Fuck you. You going to hell, and that's just the way that is. But nevertheless, man, I'm gonna do the 9-1 wing sometime this week. If I don't do it this week, it's for sure next week, for sure. That's for sure. Sometime this week, maybe the weekend in particular. I got definitely do them on the weekend, so my blood pressure won't be high because I was preparing to do it yesterday. And I made a mistake in eating some spicy wings, and them bitches was worse than ever. So I ain't doing them particular motherfuckers again. But nevertheless, man, again, fuck you one more time. Fuck LSU Field. Fuck LSU. Fuck Ed Orgeron. Nevertheless, but they beat the shit out of them hoes. I mean, they destroyed them. And like I say, Ed Orgeron came into a great situation by taking the LSU job. I can't. That was a good move because Tom Spurman, aka Tom Herman, aka Mr. Tom Sherman, whatever the fuck you want to call that motherfucker, he turned his nose up at the LSU job. Could have had this opportunity, just like Ed Orgeron did in Jumbo Fisher, aka Dumbo Fisher, right about now.
Bimbo.
Yeah, Dumbo. We're gonna call him Dumbo because that's more like it for him. Dumbo Fisher made the mistake of not taking his job. He should have stayed his stupid ass at LSU. He would have probably had a few national titles, in between, had he not taken the Florida State job. But hey, he wanted something easy to win, and look where he's at. He's at Texas A&M, damn near about to get fired. He ain't that far from getting fired from Texas A&M. Have unrealistic expectations. They haven't won a national title since FDR won a national title, but they expect every coach to come in there and win a national title. Unrealistic, motherfucker. I don't give a damn how many Houston motherfuckers you recruit. You can't compete with the SEC because you got everybody taking talent out of the city of Houston. But nevertheless, Ed Orgeron and the Dave Miranda, as well as the offensive coordinator, had came up with a great game plan, and they blew them out. And I initially said they were going to have to score. I said they were going to have to score 40 to beat them. That's what I initially said. Even though we made a bet, I did say as we were making the bet, and as the bet was modeled. Say what now? Say what now?
Shit, but I knew they was going to score 40, but I didn't expect. I said I knew they were going to score 40, but I didn't expect it to be that damn quick.
They were going to have to because Oklahoma can score. They scored 28. Had that game been closer than what it was, that would have been a shaky game for them, and they might have made some mistakes in the process. But they did. Now that they didn't make the mistakes that they made, they handled their business and they did what they were supposed to do to beat them. They were going to have to score that many points to beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma can score out of the ass. Regardless of them being 63-28, you're going to have to score that many points to beat them, especially with Lincoln Riley, which I think right now Lincoln Riley, even though he's losing, he lost most of his bowl games because every other year Oklahoma gets their dick ridden every year because they're Oklahoma and ended up in the playoffs, even though he's 0-3 in the postseason. Lincoln Riley is a hell of a coach. I'll say that. He's a hell of an offensive coordinator, and he can make any quarterback a great quarterback because he understands that to be a good coach, you're going to have to play to the strength of that quarterback. So
right.
For the next few years, as long as Oklahoma are able to recruit the way they've been recruiting, you're going to have to score that many points to beat him because his offensive mind, his offensive genius is second to none. You know what I'm saying? You can argue tap Dabo Swinney, but other than that, ain't nobody got that kind of offensive expertise like he does in college football. So you're gonna have to run the scoreboard up on them. They had to run the scoreboard up on them. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is when it comes to LS Pepe Le Pew, but I think LSU is gonna win the national title.
No doubt.
They're gonna beat the shit out of Clemson. It's a home game to them. That was the worst thing that anybody could have imagined is LSU basically going home to play in the national title game. Mm-hmm. The fans is gonna make that 1 hour trip. Probably the whole city of Baton Rouge is probably gonna make the whole trip, and some people from Louisiana are gonna make that trip and they're going to play Clemson. But we can get on the Clemson game also.
And in fact, we're going to talk about it because my boy Jimmy, last night before I went to bed, I had to go to work today, in the little sports talk and sports chat group on Facebook, he expressed his vehement displeasure about how this game was won by Clemson. Yeah, unfortunately missed it because it was brought to light. Justin Fields, he reactivated a knee injury that we didn't know about until now. Thanks to ESPN for that. But Jimmy, what was your thoughts about how? Because when I asked you about did it with the officiating crew, okay? Because you said you and shout out to Corey Wolf, y'all both expressed y'all disdain about how this officiating crew. It was like they wasn't letting them guys just play. It was more like they were favoring Clemson.
Yeah, because the first call that was the beginning of the end for Ohio State was that sack that got a player ejected, that roughening the passer, which Trevor Lawrence was already sacked.
Right.
And they called a roughening the passer because Trevor Lawrence got sacked and another guy jumped on top of him and another guy. So basically it was a clean football play, but they wanted to protect this motherfucker so bad. And it sickens me to do that because I'm going to tell y'all, pocket passes are slowly dying out of in football.
Yes.
I mean, staying in the pocket is not going to be the thing to do because at first people say, well, if you have a quick release and a good offensive line, that's not going to do you no good. That's not going to do you no good. Unless you have maximum protection, which maximum protection that doesn't always work, you're going to die in there. And your football shelf life is not going to be there. But what was happening was Ohio State's I can't think of the kid's name, the big defensive end that had 6'17". Chase Young. He was aggravating. He was causing a problem. Rather he got the sack or he contributed to the guy getting sacked because they were double teaming him most of the night. So what was ending up happening with Trevor Lawrence? What happened with Trevor Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence got sacked, one of the guys was in the process of hitting him, but it was already a clean football play. It wasn't like he came there late. They called him for roughing the passer. They ejected the kid out the game. And on that same drive, they came back and scored a touchdown. And then there was another play that where it was called roughing the kicker. At best, that was running into the kicker. At best, that was a bullshit call. And I'm not going to sit up here and co-sign that particular call. And on that same drive, they scored a touchdown. So they spotted them 14 points. Then as they took the lead 21-16, it was a play. It was a key play where the guy made a football move. His progress wasn't stopped. He had 3 steps. What ended up happening was the Ohio State defender slapped the ball and he ran it back for a touchdown, but they called it an incomplete pass, which would have changed the perplexity of the game. They called some bullshit officiating. That didn't even include the pass interference calls they got away with prior to them having the game-winning passing touchdown. Now Justin Fields threw 2 interceptions. One of those interceptions, okay, you have to fault Justin Fields on that. The second one, that was the wide receiver's fault because he didn't complete the post route. And if you're a wide receiver and you don't complete that post route, that's your fault. If your quarterback throws an interception, that's your fault because you're supposed to be there during the play. So I don't fault.
And also, and I hold it thought. And also on that final note, for all you football players that are wide receivers, if your mind is one track by only knowing how to run route, like a la Chad Johnson, who admitted he doesn't run routes, you don't deserve to be in that position. Because the easiest routes to football are the go route, the post corner, and also an end route. But the end route is tricky because you got to make sure that middle linebacker, depending on how that end is, and if you're going to put an end route in the damn middle, which if I'm offensive coordinator, I'm not going to call that shit.
Well, with the end route.
But like I said, the end route is tricky because you never know. The middle linebacker might be spying like the shit. That's how good a la Brian Urslacher was. But, that's the last time I mentioned his name in that regard. The end route is real tricky because you got to make sure you got to be eyeing basically that Mike linebacker. The middle linebacker is Mike. And
Uh-huh.
you know, it depends on your receiver or tight end, how well his vision is on that.
Yeah. Hold on. The end route, which is basically, hold on.
Dig in a flat route, unless you want negative yardage. Best of luck to you on that.
Oh, curl in route. Oh, okay. So yeah, curl in. That route, that's not a hard route to run either. I'll say that from because with the in route, you just have to sell it properly. Especially, let's say the safety is playing off 10 yards. You can use that. You can change the play call and run that in route, and you will get like at least, if you need 5 yards, 7 yards to get a first down, or to move the chains or to move to sticks, that's a good route to run if the safety is playing off. Now, if it's a bump and run coverage, you don't want to run that route. That you're gonna get a pick six easy. That's an easy pick six for a touchdown for.
Ask the St. Louis Rams how that went when Bill Belichick put that shit on that bump and run coverage.
Yeah, so the in route is not a good route to run if it's a bump and run. Now, if the safety's playing off 5 yards, 10 yards, that's the perfect route. If it's a zone route, that's a good route to run on a zone. It's a good route for it's good for a tight end situation. Tight ends, because a lot of people are not paying attention. Unless the tight end is like a Gronkowski or a Shannon Sharp or somebody, they're not really paying too much attention. So that's a beautiful route to run. It's a good route for running back to sneak out of the backfield on. It's better when your non-wide receivers are running this route, as opposed, because I have to look this up. I haven't played football in so long. But yeah, the in route is basically one of those beautiful routes right there that you can run.
And a flare route, that's really designed for the running back.
Yeah, flare route is same thing. But nevertheless, I to a certain degree, you can blame Clemson, but those key penalties played a factor in them getting back in the game. I will say that. But
you would think that the referees basically just blew this game, blew what could have been a good game.
They blew this game tremendously because, number one, that wasn't a fucking roughing the passer. That was a bullshit call. And even Corey Wolf said, as I said, that was a bullshit call. Just before, as I was typing, Corey Wolf was thinking the same goddamn thing I was thinking. It was a bullshit call. That's a bullshit ass call. What the fuck?
Right.
Fuck, the motherfucker got sacked. Now you're roughing the passer and he was sacked. Make it make sense, referees. Then that bullshit roughing the kicker call, you spotted them 14 points.
Wow.
You spotted them son of a bitches 14 points. Then you made a bullshit call with the fumble recovery, which would have changed the game. And then you missed two pass interference calls right before, because the second to last drive that the Ohio State did, they ate up the clock. They ate up like 7 minutes in the fourth quarter. And they got away with two pass interference calls that could have changed the game, that could have helped Ohio State run the clock out. They could have easily ran the clock out in the fourth quarter. They ran it, but they ran it to a disadvantage.
Excuse me, y'all.
So it was some fuck shit officiating, nevertheless. It was a couple of times in the game to where the secondary, because Clemson's secondary, they're not the best secondary in the world. They're opportunistic, but they're not the best secondary. The front seven have held the Clemson defense down this year. But what did not help at all was J.K. Dobbins being out of the game for that length of time. I think he came back toward the middle of the third quarter, because I think he was cramping up. And then the lack of mobility of Justin Fields. I think had Justin Fields been somewhat mobile, because that's his strength. His strength is his mobility. Yeah. He can sit in the pocket, but that's not his game. His game is being able to use his mobility to see downfield, to find his wide receivers downfield. And I like that part of his game, because he knows when to slide. He's a smart quarterback. And you can see at some of the points, because they were trying to run the read option, but they couldn't run it because Justin Fields could not sell it good enough.
No.
He could not sell it because his knees was fucked up. And when you have a bad knee, I know what it's like to have a fucked up knee. I don't have a fucked up knee now, but having any kind of knee injury, ankle injury, those are some of the worst injuries in terms of running, because you need your knees, you need your ankles to run. So you could tell he was injured. So that played a major factor, because I think Ohio State would have put up just as many points as fucking old boy did. Had he not been hurt, they would have got blowed out. They wouldn't have had a chance to cheat them motherfuckers. But I think that was a major factor in itself. But those referees did not help that situation whatsoever. They did not help the game at all. I was very pissed off, and a lot of Ohio State fans was pissed off, because I wanted to see Justin Fields piss in the face of. I wanted to see him take a real big piss on them hoes. But he's got a chance next year if his knees hold up, he's healthy. I think Justin Fields will be the Heisman Trophy winner next year.
Doubt.
He's going to be the Heisman Trophy winner because he has multiple dimensions to his passing game. He can sit in the pocket. He uses his mobility to find receivers downfield. You know, he's not looking to run. He's looking to throw downfield to find his wide receivers to get more yardage. He reminds me a lot of a taller version of Russell Wilson to a certain degree, except Russell Wilson is shorter. I don't know if he's fast as him, but, you know, yesterday was the game versus two of the top three quarterbacks in the country in 2018. Because those were the top three. Because there was three guys out of Atlanta. I'm going to talk about the other one who had a shitty bowl game later, who was also out of Atlanta. But all three of those guys played in the USA Go Army bowl game together. So the thing is, I think the officials ought to be ashamed of themselves. There were opportunities that Ohio State squandered, but they shouldn't have been spotted no fucking 14 points. They wanted Clemson to win. But LSU gonna whoop their ass next week. So I mean on the 13th. I'm sorry. So it is what it is. So I think Clemson's gonna lose in the national title game. That's gonna be too much of an advantage. But if they do win, that's saying a lot about how great Dabo Swinney is as a coach. In terms of his coaching and stuff like that, that would be saying a lot, and it's going to be hard to argue that Trevor Lawrence is not the greatest college quarterback of all time, which that could be argued as well for different people. But nevertheless, you know, congratulations to Clemson on that. Nevertheless, you know, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen on the 13th of January, sir.
Most definitely. Because I got LSU in that game.
Blowout, basically. They're gonna run the scoreboard up on him. Go ahead.
It's time for that. It's that time. Jim Wright takes the wheel, and his topic of choice is none other than the Miami Hurricanes. Now, in case y'all didn't notice, the Miami Hurricanes played Louisiana Tech.
Yes, sir.
They lost 14-0. 14-0. A very shitty offensive performance where it took three of their quarterbacks to get 153 yards passing, whereas it only took one from Louisiana Tech to get what he needed by himself. What was that? Friday or Saturday? I think Saturday. Miami offensive coordinator Dan Enos, his goofy looking ass, was relieved of his duties. Yeah. The Hurricanes had averaged 25.8 points per game for the whole season. That's like 90th in the nation. I think it was 89th in the nation. Let me look that up right quick. Google it, because he put up some very pissy poor stats. And he is, damn it, fault first and foremost. But also, I want to put the fault on his former employer before he became a coach, ESPN, for hyping this damn hyping this fucking Miami team up. Because it is Miami had a chance all year. Miami had chances all they lost games they could have won. That's winning.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know Georgia Tech because Jeff Collins is get these dudes out, break them out of their wishbone and run that on the wishbone no more, which he's correct. They finna go with a traditional base set offense.
Yeah, unless you're talking about high school football, most people, unless you're talking about high school football, nobody runs it in college for the most part. You might have the academies, the military academies run it, but for the most part, most college teams don't run nothing remotely close to that shit, anymore. But continue, sir.
Right. So as I pulled this up, and he made one of the awards, Danish, because when he took over for Central Michigan fans were glad for him to go. Then he went to Arkansas, where he was pretty good. From what I read, the player in Arkansas at the time when Bert Berlin was, it was like he kicked their ass for every little fucking thing there was. Football. He even went so far as with the Miami quarterbacks, and I think a shout out to him, Jack. Something about the way his ass was positioned when he was, it was something. And getting into too much detail, fucking absurd. It's just fucking absurd. Right. So type of dudes that he might want to, if he got a degree, he might want to get a job doing that. I understand, yeah, you coaching, that's what you love to do. But, dude, learn.
Yeah, please.
And as I'm waiting for this page to load up on my laptop, and this shit is just fucking slow. Jimmy, have at it.
You bitch ass motherfuckers from Miami. Last one of you motherfuckers on the Miami staff, from the offensive coordinator to the offensive line coach to the running back coach to the fucking everybody on that whole offensive staff need to be fucking fired. I'm clowning all you hoes. Fuckers ought to be against themselves. Number one, the offensive play calling was shitty and fucking terrible. How the fuck you sons of bitches, you sorry play calling, goddamn CDC class, special education class ass offense. How the fuck you score 0 points against Louisiana Tech? Louisiana Tech defense ain't all that. And Skipples beat y'all. A motherfucker who can't keep a job at East Carolina. A motherfucker who can't keep a job. You giving that motherfucker second win and second breath. Then to top things off, you motherfuckers got 3 5-star fucking quarterbacks. 3, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 3 5-star quarterbacks, and you can't score points against Louisiana Tech. Now, granted, Louisiana Tech was at home, so that was somewhat of an advantage. Shreveport, Louisiana Tech, I don't know the exact city Louisiana Tech is, and I don't give a shit. I'm not trying to be Mr. Niggapedia right about fucking now. But it was basically a home game for them. But you shouldn't lose 14-0. Hell, to be honest with you, you shouldn't have lost 4. Say what now? You shouldn't lose 14-13, much less. So, nevertheless, Miami offensive staff, because what I was seeing was bad play calling. What I was also seeing was offensive linemen who couldn't protect their quarterback if they had the exact instructions on how to fucking protect their quarterback. That's how terrible those motherfuckers were. All y'all motherfuckers need y'all ass whooped. All you from the offensive, the whole offensive staff should be gone. Offensive line coach need to be gone. The wide receivers coach need to be gone. These motherfucking wide receivers couldn't catch a cold butt naked in the middle of fucking Greenland. Let me say this again. You motherfucking sorry ass wide receivers for fucking Slimamy University, the Pew. That's what the fuck y'all is right about now. You motherfuckers couldn't catch a cold butt naked in the middle of Greenland. That's how sorry these motherfuckers is. This was some goddamn sorry ass shit. You got a 5-star quarterback that couldn't make completions. Now, granted, he threw a couple of bullshit passing, but I'm not gonna put that all on those quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Because those quarterbacks did what they needed to do. Then you had a golden opportunity when he was deep in Louisiana Tech territory, but you still couldn't call the right plays. And that's why your motherfucking ass is unemployed right now.
Dan Enos.
You shouldn't even be hired by a goddamn Pee Wee League football team with that fucking type of play calling you was calling against Louisiana Tech. The scoreboard should have been ran up. If Louisiana Tech was going to beat you, it should have been 40 or 50 points on the board before y'all lost. But you couldn't even get on the fucking scoreboard. That's
Louisiana Tech was being nice because they weren't no better either.
They were not doing shit either. But to say the least, this was some fucking bullshit. Now the defense was the good side about the Miami game. The defense played decent. You know, they gave them opportunities to score and they still pissed on themselves. You know what I'm saying? To say the least. But I blame that bullshit play calling because when you're dealing with an 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid, you know, coming in from high school, you know, you got to mentor him. So this is his first year. He redshirted the year before, and then you got another guy coming off the bench. I don't know his. You got like 3 guys that's in that was 5-star recruits.
Martell was like the number was recruit.
Yeah, so I'm not you sorry ass offensive staff. Y'all need y'all ass whooped. All of y'all need y'all ass whooped. The offensive line did not help them. You didn't take it.
But hold on. Mm-hmm. I got the numbers, but go ahead. I got the numbers.
But it was
out of 130 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, check these numbers out. Out of 130 teams, guess what Miami ranked under Danny ranked in third down conversion percentage?
Where were they rankings?
Hey.
Where?
They had wildly inconsistent running play. They were ranked 129th out of 130 teams in third down conversion percentage. Now this will piss me off. Only Akron, which finished the season winless, was worse than Miami in that department. Miami converted 27.2% of its third downs. Akron converted 26.4%. Then they said the Hurricanes announced the decision with a 1-sentence statement. The University of Miami football program announced Friday that Dan Enos has been relieved of his duties as offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Now, when they do a 1-sentence statement, I'm gonna let you continue. I'm gonna let you take the wheel back again in a minute because we're on park right now. When the school just had to do a 1-sentence statement, they really didn't give a fuck about you, and really they were tired of your ass. They were sick of your ass. But that's not all. Miami ranked 89th nationally in scoring offense, 99th in total offense, 122nd in rushing offense, and 122nd in red zone offense. It used 3 quarterbacks. Again, Jimmy said it. It used not 1, not 2, but 3 quarterbacks in the 14-0 bowl loss, and they still managed only 227 yards of offense. And then Manny Diaz said this: our execution on offense and our inability to sustain drives on offense gave us no chance to win this football game. You motherfucking think, Manny? Take the wheel.
He needs his ass whooped. Manny needs his ass whooped for hiring those piss poor ass offensive staff and he needs his entire ass whooped. They need to take a bull whip and whoop all you bitches' ass. You got all this good ass talent at fucking Miami, and you can't do a goddamn thing with them. I'm not going to piss on these freshman quarterbacks because they're freshmen. That's what the fuck they are. Freshmen are going to make fresh new fucking mistakes. So you gotta do what makes them feel comfortable. I don't know what type of system you call yourself running over there in Miami, but you need to change that shit. You need to find something that's gonna make those quarterbacks comfortable. Because there's no excuse to to lose 14 of shit against Louisiana Tech. Memphis would have scored more fucking points against Louisiana Tech than fucking Miami. It's no fucking excuse. We're not talking about a Miami Tech team, a Louisiana Tech team that played with Terry Bradshaw. Those teams were good, okay. But you're talking about a team, a Louisiana Tech team with average ass coach, extra average ass coach Skip Holtz that can't keep a good job. The fuck wrong with you motherfuckers out here? The fuck wrong with this whole goddamn? The fuck wrong with this goddamn offensive? You went in and out,
another
bro.
thing
I couldn't hear you, bro.
Skip Holtz to throw away. Louisiana Tech been an area team. I was saying that Louisiana Tech, when Skip Holtz got the job with Louisiana Tech, he wanted to run he wanted to get rid of the air raid system and wanted to go with a basic pro style offense. You can't do that with no Louisiana Tech team. So now they run an RPO. So, and then, but back to Miami, then Manny Diaz said when he, they said Dan Enos came to Miami after Jimmy. Associate head coach at Alabama, which reached the college football national game. Diaz called him a innovative play there, and he was the top candidate for the job. Less than a year, Diaz is looking for Enos's replacement. It would be a rocky offseason for Diaz. It will be a rocky offseason for Diaz, whose first season ended with losses to Florida International, Duke, and Louisiana Tech. The Hurricanes lost 3 games where missed kicks, both field goals and extra points were factors, plus lost 3 times when they were favored by 2 touchdowns or more.
And that's inexcusable because we did nothing but brag about Manny Diaz coming into Miami and how he could possibly change the culture of Miami, but apparently not. Apparently, you missed the boat when it comes to learning X's and O's. You missed the boat on when you have that type of talent going in because he inherited some of Mark Richt's talent. So even in that department, even though Mark Richt be on some fuck shit, he has no.
That's all Mark Richt's talent right there.
Yeah, so basically, you have no fucking excuse. Because one thing I can say about Mark Richt is Mark Richt would have put up some points on them hoes. Before you beat him, you're not going to shut Mark Richt's teams out too quickly. I think Miami got tired of Mark Richt, and Mark Richt had a heart attack, and he basically went on and retired. But my thing is, Mark Richt would have scored some points before he lost. Before he lost that game, it would have been some points up on the board before you beat him. So, nevertheless, Manny Diaz need to cut the fuck shit. Cut the fuck shit, Manny. Cut the fuck shit because you have no excuses here. Dan Enos had no fucking excuses here. They should have beaten these guys hand over fist, easy work. But instead, you made those guys look good. I don't give a fuck if this is a home game to them or not. They shouldn't have beat them. With the talent that Miami had accumulated under Rick and some of the couple of recruits that he accumulated, they shouldn't have been in the same building with fucking Miami. They shouldn't have been in the same building with Miami. So this is some fuck shit. I'm calling it what it is. He need to go to hell with that bullshit. And Dan Enos, you need to go back to you need to go find a job in just go find a job other than fucking football.
Matter of fact, Danny, let's go coach high school. Shit.
Go coach,
Cut ass.
go coach volleyball. Don't coach football ever again because you obviously.
Danny, let's go coach high school.
Damn, what the hell?
What
I'm sorry. No, it was an echo. I was not trying to do that. I was trying to find some. I was trying to look some things up, and that happened to go there because you have all the notifications. But yeah, don't coach football. Just coach. Just coach volleyball somewhere. Something. Coach figure skating. Don't coach fucking football. The way you called those that against Louisiana Tech. Just coach some volleyball, girls volleyball or something. Shit.
Or something. And speaking of big fuck yous, a massive fuck you to Jameis Winston.
Mm-hmm.
He had to do it. He had to join that 30 for 30 club. So I ain't got no comment about him. Fuck you, Jameis. Go to hell. I hope Tampa Bay releases your ass from your contract so Bruce Arians can get so y'all can work on getting a better damn quarterback. Matter of fact, y'all need to get Ryan Fitzpatrick back because anytime what Ryan Fitzpatrick did last year was no fucking fluke. What was it? He had like 5 straight games with over 400 yards or more, and then no picks.
Mm-hmm.
And then Winston come back and, Winston, you can go to hell. Big shout out to Christian McCaffrey because he's the 3rd player to get over 1,000 rushing yards and over 1,000 receiving yards.
Yeah, congratulations to him.
And he enjoying the league of company with Roger Craig and I forgot who the second one was.
Marshall Faulk.
All right.
Marshall Faulk was
so.
The second. Yeah,
let me see what.
That was not a good look at all. Him throwing that 30th pick, and he lost the game on that 30th pick. That's the crazy thing about that shit. He lost the game. They had an opportunity to win, but he threw the first play of the game. He had to throw that 30th pick. But one thing I can say, out of the good points, at least he threw 30 touchdowns in the process of throwing 30 picks. Because everybody else, they threw 40 picks and 30-some picks, and they didn't even get to 20. Some of those guys. So I will give him cut him some slack on that. But that's just a bad look on his end. And again, he needs to play baseball. I mean, football is not for him at this point. It looks like Tampa Bay is probably more than likely they're gonna release him and get another quarterback.
Yeah, because this is his option year.
Yeah,
this is it.
So for him, he needs to just play baseball. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's not gonna get no other opportunity, and so just play baseball. Just go ahead and work out in baseball, and you probably do good in that. So it is what it is when it comes to that.
All right, Jimmy. Fan question time. You ready?
Go ahead.
All right, this one comes from Pete Gorner. He wants to know, why do many Texas high school football players play for the Sooners? What's wrong with the Longhorns?
Because the Sooners in the last 3 decades, because I have to say 3 decades because that's when Bob Stoops came over there, they have a better offensive system than the fucking Texas Longhorns, to make a long story short. Mac Brown, he had some good play calling. I'm not gonna piss on Mac Brown, but Mac Brown got in his ways. He got conservative. Because when Mac Brown came, Texas was mainly a run first team, pass second. And Mac Brown came, he kind of changed the culture with that, but then he went into, okay, we want to run the ball first. Yeah, we're gonna run the fucking ball first, and then he got into some fuck shit. So that's one of the reasons. Second is probably the opportunity in Oklahoma is a lot of times a lot better than going to Texas, because when you talk about the Texas Longhorn, you're at the state capitol, and you're not just going up against the best in your city, you're going up against the best in the entire state. So that's a factor. So if you piss shit the bed on that, then now you got to go through the transfer portal and all that other bullshit. So with you going through the transfer portal, and like Justin Fields' case was was a different situation. He had the right attorney in that particular situation, so he could have easily made a transfer and it wasn't no problem. But if anybody else, you got to sit out in red shirt and stuff like that. So nobody wants to go through that. And it's not just Oklahoma. Sometimes it's easier to go to OSU than fucking Texas A&M or any Texas school. And most people don't use the option to go to the University of Houston because most of the time those guys come from the city of Houston. You know, we're talking about basketball or football. You know, it's the same shit in both sports because most of Oklahoma's talent come, you know, normally out of East Texas and Dallas. And sometimes they get guys in West Texas and stuff like that. But to make a long story short, people don't want to go through the fuck shit process that Texas could possibly have. And that's why you see them at Oklahoma. Sometimes they black asses may go to LSU. You know what I'm saying? They may go to Arkansas before they go to fucking Texas. You know, they may have an opportunity there. Usually those border states is going to get talent. Missouri gets guys out of Houston. Texas as well. So it's a lot of that's not just with Oklahoma, to make a long story short. But that's one of the reasons. They want to play immediately. And when you're bragged on as the top, because if you're good in Texas, we're talking about good. If you're throwing for $3,000 yards, I'm about to say $3,000. 3,000 yards. If you're throwing for 3,000 yards as a quarterback, you're gonna get hyped up. What's that white kid name that won the state for Westlake? I can't think of that kid's name.
Ellinger.
Not Ellinger. It's another kid that just won the state last week. I can't think. Let me pull this up while I do that. But I'm gonna tell you right now, that kid is gonna get a lot of. Because one thing I can say about the coach, you said his name before, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm gonna turn this notification. Westlake won the state title last week because they moved to Division II instead of Division I. Because what was happening to Westlake is every year they had to run into North Shore or Katy, or they had to run into fucking what's that school from Dallas, Duncansville.
Mm-hmm. But I'm asking about what coach did I say? Was it a high school coach's name I said? Or?
You looked it up and you mentioned you said his name, high school coach. But he does a good job of making sure his kids get to top level schools. I mean, Todd Dodge, that's his name, Todd Dodge, 56 years old. Yeah, so he does a hell of a job of making sure his kids get to the best. If you're the best kid out of the city of Austin, Coach Dodge do a good job. Coach Dodge do a hell of a job of making sure his kid gets to the best schools out there. Not, I'm trying to look for the guy in 2000. Not him. Let me see this kid. What's this kid's name? I'm trying to look his name up because I remember I mentioned it, but I couldn't think of it off the top of my head. 24/7 Sports. Where's this kid? What's this kid? Because Baker Mayfield came out of this school. What's this bitch ass kid name? What's this kid name? I'm trying to find this kid. Kirkland Mishaw. That's his name. Kirkland. So remember that name, Kirkland Mishaw. Okay. That kid's gonna go to a top level school. Mark my words. Because one thing about Coach Dodge, and he has like a system similar to BYU, from my understanding. It's a real complex offensive system he has. But those kids,
it ain't as complex and stupid and demanding as Jimbo Fisher's is it?
I don't think it is, but he be those kids because Drew Brees, Nick Foles, Baker Mayfield came out of those schools. Sam Ellinger came out of that school, but Kirkland Mishaw, he's throwing motherfucker now for a high school kid. He's throwing that motherfucker. But mark my word, he's gonna be at a top level school. But by the end of next month, mark my words, he gonna have a commitment somewhere. Because one thing about Westlake, if you play for Westlake, man, you're gonna go to the best schools out there, man. Don't mark my word. You're gonna go to the best schools out there. So that kid is gonna. He won the state. He won the second state title because the thing with Westlake is they had to run into schools in Houston, Manville, and all those other schools and shit like this. So you ain't finna win no state title too quick against those teams because in Houston, we get a break from the winter weather. And then a lot of these schools have indoor facilities, top level indoor facilities. Katy have a top level indoor facility. North Shore has an indoor facility. And shout out to North Shore for winning the state title for the second straight year in a row. And how I compare North Shore reminds me a lot of Whitehaven. They remind me of a Texas version of Whitehaven. So that's with them. But yeah, expect some hype from that kid, man. But Ty Dodge, he gonna get that kid in a good school.
Okay. Toss up. Who's a better player in the NBA? Allen Iverson or Dwayne Wade?
Iverson.
Agreed.
Iverson gives you more. He was a lot quicker. His crossover dribble broke the hell out your ankles. Dwayne Wade was good, but you can't even compare him to AI. I ain't even finna. Wade was a better team player if you gonna make that argument, but overall, AI was the answer. I ain't even gonna piss on AI for that.
I agree. What other questions we got here? Here's a good one. Did Justin Fields play? And you saw it last night yourself. Did Justin Fields play last night leave some doubt about his pro potential?
Hell no. He was hurt.
No.
Get the fuck out of here with that damn question. Hell no. There's no doubt about his pro potential. He was hurt. He had a fucked up knee. Try playing on a fucked up knee. Matter of fact, try working on a fucked up knee. Try going up a flight of steps with a fucked up knee. I'm talking from experience. I've been an athlete in high school. I did the mountain shit for the most part, except the track and field, but that's a whole nother conversation in itself, But, try playing on a fucked up knee. Try walking up a flight of stairs on a fucked up knee. His pro potential is still there. The problem was...
And the guy that asked his name is Sam Gallenberg, but Sam... No, now I'm put it like this. The only way that game probably could have messed up his pro potential was if he was just out there just fucking hot dogging it.
No, and he wasn't doing that at all. The problem,
man, he wasn't doing that at all. He like Jimmy stated, the dude had a messed up knee that went public after 2 weeks from that, right now, because he hurt it against Penn State. Then he re-aggravated against Wisconsin.
Yeah, he could not, because the thing with Justin Fields, he helped out his offensive line because going into this game, he was only sacked 9 times the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of that was because his ability to move and escape out the pocket. He wasn't a sitting duck. To get sacked throughout the whole year. So if you're able to escape and evade a sack, escape and evade is the two key words. You're going to reduce the amount of sacks that's going to be hit on you. That's not even including the knockdowns that you accumulate, because you can accumulate knockdowns even escaping. But he dodged a lot of sacks. So the thing is, with him not being able to evade and dodging, with Brett Venables as the defensive coordinator, who's probably the best defensive coordinator in all of football and all of college football, he's going Brett Venables can expose anybody, but he wasn't exposed. He didn't have no mobility. If he had some type of mobility, it would have been a whole nother ball game. I don't give a damn what Brett Venables dodge up. You're going to have to knock him off. You're going to have to cut off his escape routes. And that's hard to do against a guy like him, a healthy guy like him. That's hard to do. So, no, that does not fuck up his pro potential. He just had I wouldn't even say he had a bad game. It was just he was hurt. Yep. And a factor in Ohio State losing. Because had he won the game, nobody would have been talking about, whether or not his pro potential is. So it is what it is when it comes to that.
Oh, no doubt. Hold on.
Hold on for a second. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm back now.
All right. Last question. You get your time to put your headset on.
Yeah, it's on now. Shit.
Did Joe Burrow have the? This also came from Sam, the same guy that asked about Justin Fields. He wants to know: did Joe Burrow have the greatest half in college football history? Yes.
He had the greatest game in college football history.
It's not just a half, but the greatest game
in college football history. He didn't need to even complete the game to have the greatest. You throw 7 touchdowns against anybody and score 8 with the 8 rushing touchdown included. He had the greatest game of college football history, in college bowl game history at least. So he did his damn thing, and I wouldn't expect him to do less than that again. He'd probably do more damage against. No, I wouldn't be surprised if he did that against Clemson. Let's be honest with you, because that secondary has some holes in it. Don't get it twisted.
LSU or Clemson?
No, Clemson secondary. Has holes.
Yeah. Oh, I already know.
They're gonna
be all right.
And I'm gonna tell you something about Clemson. The only way they're gonna have a chance of beating them people is they're gonna have to sack that motherfucker at least 6 or 7 times. That's the only way Clemson is gonna beat them hoes. I'm saying it here now. If they win, the only reason why those bitch ass motherfuckers gonna win is because they're gonna have to sack that motherfucker 6 or 7 times, maybe 10 to show dog on the road. But going into these dudes' territory like that, that's gonna be a difficult thing to do. Because LSU, it ain't like playing Florida. It ain't like playing Miami in the Orange Bowl. It ain't like playing them. They play better when they're over there at LSU. The Sugar Bowl, you might like their last 2 national titles have been in the Sugar Bowl. Let's put this in perspective. The last 2 national titles LSU has won, because they won one with the Gray Ghost, Billy Cannon in 1959, but I don't know exactly where that is. But with them winning, when they won their 2 national titles was in the Sugar Bowl, and they probably would have won a 3rd one had Alabama ass not been in the BCS Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So It is what it is when it comes to that, man. Because goddamn well Alabama shouldn't have been in that goddamn BCS Bowl, which is why you got that playoff system thing.
Well, and I even said it on your show, and I admitted, I said that was ESPN politicking for that.
Yeah, and not only that, LSU would have won a national title easily because number one, they had their strength of schedule couldn't have been debated. They beat West Virginia at home, and then they went to AT&T Stadium and beat a hell of an Oregon team who won not the national title, but they won the Pac-10, Pac-12 title. So they had their strength of schedule could not have been disputed. Then they played in the SEC against Alabama, Auburn, and they went undefeated. So they should not have been there in that particular instance. But LSU's last 2 national titles was won in the Sugar Bowl. And Ain't nobody. They. It's gonna be hard to beat them. I'm gonna tell you that. If Clemson wants to win, Clemson's gonna have to put up some points. They can't sit up here and pussyfoot and joke around and expect 20 points is gonna be up. I'm gonna say the same shit that I said Oklahoma, and I ain't finna jinx you. I'm just gonna keep it 1,010. With the way Joe Burrow is playing, Joe Burrow is gonna have to be stopped, or you're gonna have to outscore him to where he can't is virtually unreachable. Because the way he played against Oklahoma, aka Choklahoma, you cannot give this kid time. You're gonna have to sack this hole, and the secondary gonna have to play lights out, and that's gonna be hard for that secondary to do. So you gonna have to get some pressure on that kid. If you don't get no pressure on this damn kid, it's gonna get lit up like a fucking Christmas tree up in this bitch. You finna get lit up like some street signs on a Texas interstate. So you motherfuckers better bring it. I'm telling y'all right now. You know, I'll concede. I don't like Ed Orgeron. I don't like LSU. I'm going to eat some 9-1 win wings, habanero. I'm going to at least the top 2 hottest things in history because I bet it against LSU. But I'm going to tell you motherfucking Clemson fans right now, you motherfuckers going to have to get more than enough sacks, and you better hope some of them hoes be a fumble. You better hope you fumble that nigga a few times. Because if you don't, Joe Burrow is going to pick you apart. Joe Burrow is going to pick you apart. LSU ain't none of Ohio State. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I'm not pissing on Ohio State. Ohio State had some unfortunate calls that didn't go their way. But
and I just read something on ESPN. They said the calls made against them were a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, those were some bullshit ass calls because they were spotted 14 points. You take away those 14 points, we're talking about Ohio State versus LSU. Maybe a better game, but I don't know if Ohio State would have did even any better because they're basically playing a home game. Ohio State would have probably still had a hard time with LSU. You know, yes, Ohio State had the #1 scoring defense in the country, had one of the top 10 scoring offenses in the country, but you can't. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to beat these hoes. I'll concede to that. It's gonna be hard to beat them. It's gonna be hard to beat them.
Oh, no doubt. I got one here for me. Comes from Walter. He wants to know. He said, "Hello, Craig." Said, "Hello, Jimmy. Listen to how you two guys talk about the greatest NCAA teams as far as college football and basketball goes. What was the greatest NCAA college football team ever that did not win the national championship?" So I did some research on this question. Because matter of fact, I looked at this. I had to set it aside. I had to do some research on this question. The 1994 Penn State team, and I got this off of Sports Reference's simple ranking system. The 1994 Penn State team finished 12-0, but second to the 13-0 Nebraska team since the two teams did not meet. And Penn State was obligated to play in the Rose Bowl as they was part of that bowl coalition thing, which was abandoned after this season, largely due to the fact that #1 didn't play #2 in bowl games. You just talked that up.
Yep.
So that Penn State gets the nod because they were undefeated and they had a large margin of victory over teams. 8-0 in the Big Ten Conference, including a 63-14 win over #14 Ohio State and a road win at Michigan, which finished 12th and was ranked 5th at the time. And out of conference wins over then #14 USC 38-14, and they beat the shit out of Oregon 38-20 in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And most of the teams at the top of that list also had losses. The #2 team on the list, the 1980 Nebraska team, actually had 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that Penn State team, that 94 Penn State team was a beast.
Yeah. That's a hard question. That's a hard question, but if I'm gonna make that argument, I would probably say that particular team. If I would make that argument, so yeah.
Yeah, what it is. So, on a closing note, I heard something made you happy a few minutes ago, about a couple hours ago. Even though you lost a bet, you won a bet. You win some, you lose some, you win some.
And let me go back to LSU's national titles. They beat Clemson 7-0 in 1959 to win the national title. So all three of their national titles come in the state of Louisiana. So take that in consideration. They're 2-1 against Clemson in that in history. So, but yeah, I want another bet. The New England Patriots lost again.
And wild card team now.
Say what now?
And they are a wild card team now.
I loved every minute of it. The Dolphins never disappoint me. They got their ass whooped 40-something shit. Then come back to New England for the first time in ages and beat the New England Patriots.
27-24.
I love every minute.
Wow. Seattle and the Niners play tonight too.
Yeah, and I think they're playing for the second wild card spot. I could be wrong. I think
no, they're playing for home field.
Home field. So whoever wins that. No, the Saints got home field because they're 13-3. So they're playing for a second wild card. They're playing for the second wild card because the fact that I think the Saints are 13-3. So they're playing they're playing for a wild card. They're playing for home. They're playing for the second bye week. But nevertheless, go ahead.
All right, as of right now, you got Baltimore number 1. Kansas City is the second seed, so they got the first round bye. New England is third. Houston is 4th. Buffalo is 5th. So we got to fight for the 6th spot between Tennessee and Pittsburgh.
Yes, sir.
Now Green Bay. Well, let's see. Green Bay is number 1 in the NFC. Then you got New Orleans at number 2. San Fran is 3rd. Philly is 4th right now. Seattle is 5th, and Minnesota is 6th. So if Seattle beats San Fran, then they swap.
Okay.
Seattle be the 3rd seed. Seattle be the 3rd, and San Fran will be the 5th.
Yeah.
Because Dallas is out.
Oh, are they officially out? Hold on.
As of right now, Philly got the lead. Well, the Cowboys leading right now, 2013.
It's 10 Giants, actually. 444, 10-10. The Titans is leading to Texans.
Houston. Yep. Baltimore leading by 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. They're gonna have to make a lot of adjustments with Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, though. I will say this because he don't need to be taking those hits that he. I don't mind. I say I don't mind him running, but he needs to make some adjustments in the playoffs because you don't want the defense to key in on you. So if I'm gonna make a bet with the boy from the Patriots. Oh, we're gonna bet. I think we're gonna bet these next. After this week, we're gonna bet the next 3 games. Because I told him if the New England Patriots get to the Super Bowl, I'm gonna automatically bet them $100. So yeah,
I'm staying out of that bet.
I'm gonna automatically.
Well, you know the NFL gonna work it out.
I don't give a shit. But I know one thing, and I'm saying it right here: New England is not gonna win the Super Bowl this year. Whether they lose to Baltimore, fans is shitty, or in the Super Bowl, they're gonna lose this year. And a lot of New England fans, they're gonna ride Tom Brady's nuts, and they're gonna get disappointed. This year is gonna be the year of disappointment for Tom Brady. And it's gonna be a sweeter disappointment because they want Tom Brady to get more rings than Michael Jordan. They want him to get that 7th ring. But it took you 1, 2, 3. It took you 9 Super Bowls. If you win this year, it took you 10 Super Bowls to get you 7 rings. So nevertheless, you lost in the Super Bowl. So nevertheless, Michael Jordan is still undefeated and always will be. Michael Jordan, if Michael Jordan had to play in 8 NBA championships, he would have won them all. Even if he had to play 2 more, 3 more, 10 more, don't matter. Because if Michael Jordan had got past the Detroit Pistons in 1990, they would have beat the Trailblazers. They would have beat the Trailblazers easily with that team.
Mm-hmm.
But what ended up happening was in 1990. At the end of the season, they instituted flagrant fouls, rightfully so, because Michael Jordan was the face of the league and was the financial money getter of the league, so they had to protect him in that situation. So it was legit. It was really legit. So what these media guys want to do is they want to see Tom Brady so they can say, because Skip Bayless been on this bullshit talking about he's the greatest athlete of all time. Pump the brakes for the fucking minute. You don't play on both sides of the fucking ball. So get the fuck out of here with that funky ass bullshit. So I'm
talking about Tom Brady.
Yeah, he be riding his nuts. He loves him some fucking Tom Brady because he said some hypocritical ass shit when old boy beat the Buffalo Bills. He only threw for like 100 and some yards. And
yeah,
Tom Brady,
hey, check that. That was me. Just text you. Check that out.
And Tom Brady did the same goddamn shit, threw for the same exact stats, and guess what? That bitch ass motherfucker was like, he tried to make fucking excuses. He tried to make excuses for that. You know what I'm saying? So get the fuck out of here, you old bitch ass motherfucker. So New England is gonna lose this year because there's gonna be a lot of butthurt motherfuckers. It's going to be a lot of butthurt Patriot fans because it's going to be too many against them because they played Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is going to put up some points against them. You ain't finna stop Aaron Rodgers' mobility. I'm sorry. It's not finna happen. Drew Brees is going to put up a lot of points against them. So you ain't going to do too much against them if you go because you're not going to do too much against Seattle. So I think Seattle this time will beat them. Will beat them. So it's going to be hard to go to both Kansas City. Kansas City is already a hard place to play. It's going to be hard. Even though they beat Kansas City last year on a bullshit call, on a bullshit pass interference call. People ain't talking about it.
That was some bullshit. That was some bullshit. Everybody said that was some bullshit.
Yeah, because dude, that was not a pass interference. That was a clear interception that was going to end the game. So nevertheless, dog, it's gonna be hard for New England to win. So I'm willing to put some money up. And I put some money up 3.
You know what? I might. You know what? I might enter my name in the hat, but I ain't gonna be betting big like that. I'm gonna go in small.
Man, I'm putting 100 against that New England Patriot fan because one thing I know is old boy who's my favorite New England fan in the world, who had to drop it off and who gonna drop it off again and gonna drop it off again the next 3 weeks. He gonna drop it off at some point these next 3 weeks. So, but nevertheless, old boy is extra emotional when it comes to the New England Patriots.
Extra emotional.
Extra emotion. He extra emotional when it comes to that motherfucker. So he gonna lose again. I'm waiting on it. I'm not gonna bet this week because it's pretty obvious whoever they play, they may fuck around and win. But in case they don't win, I'm gonna be here cheering as the Patriots' biggest hater. You know what I'm saying? So fuck New England, fuck Tom Brady, fuck Belichick. Fuck all of them. And like I said, I give Bill Belichick for his football knowledge. He's has a beautiful football knowledge, but he's still a cheap motherfucker. So
hell yeah.
So nevertheless, with all that fucking football knowledge, you still got to cheat. And I'm glad every minute I love Miami ended the season on a good note by beating them goddamn Patriots.
And one of his oldest and the head coach used to be the defensive coordinator for New England.
Yeah, man. So this beer, I love this beer, man. This beer is cool.
Yeah, I'm finna go get me some myself. Shit. Oh yeah.
I had to pop open a Heineken
Oh, okay.
Again, since New England lost, so I had to ease my liver. Gonna mess it up temporarily.
Yeah. Man, when I get some more money, man, I gotta get this tea at Walmart called I Love My Liver. Cause that's a good ass detox tea, boy, man. I drink that shit. Woo!
Oh,
You talking about a motherfucker that kept running, going back and forth to the bathroom. It's called I Love My Liver.
you need to try ginger. That ginger. Oh, you need to try that ginger apple pineapple detox.
Okay.
That's a good detox. But
All
eat
right.
some crackers. Eat some crackers or some peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you know what? I catch my drift on that. But
Gotcha.
it's a good ass detox. Because I'm gonna try it sometime next weekend. I'm gonna try that whole. I'm gonna buy me some. I might get me a blender. I'm gonna find out how much the blender costs, and I'm gonna take the pineapples and put the ginger in there, and damn, it's a good detox. I'll tell you that. It's a very healthy detox, but make sure you're not going to work. Do it after work, because that way you can flush out your system. And
No, because I always do this shit because I be off on 2 days, on Fridays and Saturdays.
yeah,
So,
do it then, because it's gonna run through you. But if you gotta go to work behind it, eat plenty of crackers. You probably need at least 5 crackers in your system. But I say the best thing to do is take those 2 days off and eat them. Eat those crackers so it won't run through you. That way you can have a proper bowel movement. And that's a secret, because sometimes I'll do like an energy deep. What I do is, to get some energy in the morning. I take some ginseng pills. And I'll either drink some Gatorade or I'll drink some Powerade. Now between a few seconds to about an hour, you're gonna have to go to the bathroom. But as you eating, as you taking the pills, make sure this is to get some energy, because it's better than you doing the energy drink. Because I didn't try this for many years. But as you doing that, make sure you eat about at least 2 crackers a day, or 3 or 4 crackers, peanut butter crackers, because you gonna have to go to the restroom the minute that shit sits in. Once it sits in, it's gonna go through you. But once it goes through you, you're gonna be all right. You ain't gonna you're gonna have to go. You might not have to go to the bathroom no more than another time, no more than one other time during the day. So it's a good detox, especially if you're doing this early in the morning. But you're gonna be up all day. Trust me, you're gonna be up all day. It's a good detox. You can get them at the local. You can use the ginseng at the gas station. That's pretty effective. At the vitamin shop. That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good thing to use. So you should definitely try that.
Oh, no doubt. Yep. Well, other than that, y'all, anything you like to add, McWrights? Hey, matter of fact, did you see that video I did, man, when I said what's your last name, McWright? You ought to call yourself McWrong, because you were dead wrong.
Man, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Man, I had some folks laughing on that shit. I said, what you call yourself, Jim McWright? You ought to call yourself Jimmy McWrong. But oh yeah. But matter of fact, right quick, we're gonna do a little extra 2-minute extra here. How many points you got Clemson scoring on against LSU?
That's gonna be very tricky. That's gonna be tricky. Oh hell no. Corey Wolf need to cut this bullshit.
Wait a minute. Hold up. What he put in the group?
Hold on. I'm gonna put it in there for you. Oh man, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna post it just in a second. Oh my goodness.
Hey, and And another thing. oh, oh hell no!
If you
I
want to
gotta
know,
post that
if you want to know what we laughing at, people, just so you don't think we are insane, this is what we laughing at.
Ooh.
He ain't shit, man. I like, man.
I posted this on my Facebook.
That nigga is the king of memes up in this motherfucker, man. He be creating some of the craziest memes in history, nigga. Like, what the hell?
Man, that shit funny as hell. Speaking of creating something, we need somebody to create some good thumbnails and shit, you know, for us, like with a thumbnail images like to upload. Cause like I got in mind, I need some faces put on. You know, matter of fact, we just need somebody to know how to do Photoshop real good. You know, do some thumbnails, cut and paste our faces on some photos and shit. You know, like a movie poster or whatever. Cause I got in mind for a couple of folks. It's a facts of life image. I got in mind for a couple of folks who I'm gonna get back. But if there's anybody that is versed in Photoshop, and if you're interested, hit me or Jimmy J Smooth up, man, because we need some very good creative thumbnails and whatnot on some various topics, like with like for example, I gotta give this dude shout out to him, Travis Heckle, because I'm gonna try to get him to draw something like do something for me because he does some stuff for the Jim Cornette podcast. Shout out to him, and you can follow him on Twitter there, Jimmy. Because I should have got Travis to draw me an image of Joe Burrow pointing the football at you eating hot wings and Jalen Hurts looking at your ass crazy and stuff like that. So if there's anybody out there that is pretty good at that, hey, hit us up.
Yeah, man. This is crazy, man. This is the guy.
Corey Wolf, you can do it too. Creating all these memes and shit.
He be claiming he don't be finding them hoes, but boy, you be creating them shits, dude. That ain't nobody finding them damn good ass memes like that. Goddamn it, he creating them motherfuckers. Stop playing, Corey.
I know he do.
He be creating them hoes, man. He be saying he don't, man. I don't be creating them. Hey, stop, nigga. You be creating them hoes, nigga. You can't find them good motherfuckers that fast. This boy be having it on like this. I'm like, nigga, you create this shit. He creates shit better than me, nigga. He be on clockwork. He's like clockwork. I'm like, damn, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody finding them hoes online like that, dog. It's like clockwork.
Damn.
Them shits be clockwork, nigga.
That's some funny ass shit. Right. But yeah, you can follow Jimmy McWright if you like, since we don't have Google Plus anymore, which I think Google Plus is way fucking better than Facebook, man. I met a whole bunch of good people off of there. Really good people and cool people. You can follow Jimmy J Smooth on Twitter at JSmooth1984. That's capital J and Smooth in small letters, and that's spelled SMOOVE 1984 on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Craig7830 as well. So Jim McWright, you have anything you'd like to add other than we got that good laugh?
And nevertheless, man, one thing I wanted to say is congratulations to Javonte Davis on not only getting a beautiful victory in the 12th round versus Yorkieres Gamboa, which I knew he could do. He's also paying for the funeral expenses of that woman that got shot at her beauty shop. And the motherfuckers who did And to the bitches who did that, they need to be dealt with. They need street justice for that. I mean, the police, the Baltimore police getting involved in that. And, I've been saying for years we need our own force, law enforcement. But right now we don't got that. So we need street justice for that shit. Because she was well on her way. And what happened was dudes were stealing bundles and tried to rob her. I think they stole like $3,000 worth of bundles. And she was telling the police that she was fearing for her life. This is a 21-year-old single mother, well on her way to big major things, and some dusty ass motherfuckers more than likely, or some possible white supremacists. But nevertheless, regardless of who did this, a motherfucker need a bullet in their temple. We need to see they brain explode in the streets for doing this poor woman like this, because there is no excuses for this shit. Whether it's a dusty bitch ass white supremacist helping ass Negro or a white supremacist, they need to be dealt with. They need to be shot in the streets.
This was a boyfriend that was stalking her that killed her?
It's obviously some random dusty niggas that don't want to see niggas that want to do good. I don't think it was just a boyfriend. It probably wasn't no boyfriend. It's possible. But regardless of who did this, they need to be dealt with. They need to be shot. They need to be made an example out of, because because this is the reason why Black people, when they do get businesses, they either put it in a white neighborhood or put it in downtown some fucking where. Because you got motherfuckers that's hating on people, and you got dusty ass niggas that's hating on people, and people should not be hated on. There's too much shit going out here. You got Black people that can't find jobs, and for this woman to die the way she did, this is a travesty. But regardless of who did this, they need a bullet in their temple. Ain't no court system. They shouldn't even get the opportunity to go to jail. They should just get killed. Whoever did this shit. So we need justice for this woman, and we need street justice for this woman. I'm saying it online, because you don't deserve to live. Fucking up a person, taking away the life of a person that, trying to do right, ain't trying to sell no drugs, ain't trying to sell no pussy, ain't trying to do anything illegal to do something to get their life going. They're doing what they need to do to get their life going. You know what I'm saying? So bitch ass shit like this, they need to be dealt with to the fullest extent in the law, and need to be dealt with severely, very severely. They need to be severely dealt with. So nevertheless, Javante Davis, Baltimore native, showed up and showed out for the city of Atlanta, Chocolate City, Atlanta. I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of him paying for the funeral expenses of that young lady. He gets some, I give him a shits. I give him the shits as a boxing, but that's only as a boxer. But I respect him for paying for that woman's expenses, and respect to that, and respect. Nevertheless, also, y'all need to bring more boxing events to Atlanta. Bring more boxing events to Atlanta, because I got family out there. I can just take a day, weekend, and just shoot over there. They need more boxing events in Atlanta. And also, to close us out, Deontay Wilder is officially going to fight Tyson Fury on the 22nd of February. I expect to knock Curly Joe looking ass motherfucker out again. Officially, I hope not. He gonna knock his ass out again. The second time you lucked up because the referee slow counted, but this time you ain't finna get up. He finna wait the game. He finna wait the fight off. So I hopefully Deontay Wilder come in there with a better game plan. If Tyson Fury comes in there and comes to Deontay Wilder, that right hand of Deontay Wilder is gonna be all she wrote for fucking Tyson Fury. So nevertheless, shout out to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and shout out to Deontay Wilder, man. Knock Curly Joe ass out so we can get closer to undisputed, because we need a champ and one title, and we need an undisputed champion and make boxing great again, baby. So regardless, man, great show, man. Stay tuned to the Jimmy J Smooth Network, man. You know what I'm saying? Follow me on the Jimmy J Smooth Network at YouTube, man, and you're gonna get the best content out there, man. So it is what it is.
And also on another closing note, Jalen Hurts' career is as follows: 4 college football playoff trips, 1 national title, 38-4 as a starting quarterback, 9,477 yards and 80 touchdowns passing, 3,274 yards and 43 touchdowns rushing. Heisman finalist. What a run. What a player. And this was tweeted by Chris Hummer. You know what, Chris? We agree, bro. It was a good run.
Yeah, good run.
Damn good run.
Good run while he lasted. Was, had he not got his position taken by Tua, he probably would have been the all-time passing leader at Alabama because he was well on pace. Even though he didn't have the best, he wasn't the best quarterback in the world at Alabama. And I was glad he got a second chance with Lincoln Riley to look at his weaknesses and strengths and weaknesses. So he did a great job this year. So I'm glad he's doing well. Hopefully he get drafted, and if not, he's got a great future in coaching because I can see him being a head coach somewhere. So respect.
No doubt. But until then, we all want to wish you love, peace, and see y'all in 2020 because there's gonna be some big plans for both our shows in 2020.
Yes, sir.
Peace. Until then, peace.